We have a fiery and very adventurous Sagittarius full moon this week on Tuesday, and that is going to bring us, well, sudden changes, yes, because that fire united with the fire on the mountain. If you haven't been having sudden changes and shift in direction in your life, then I'll tell you, you haven't been reaching high enough. Welcome. I'm Judith Royal, archetypal astrologer, and this is your astrology weather forecast for the week of May 28th to June the 3rd, 2018. And we do have that fiery Sagittarius full moon this Tuesday, and it will be illuminating, as all full moons do, everything that has been going on since that very auspicious new moon on May the 15th. Obviously, it illuminates much further back than that, but let's just concentrate on the most recent. The other things I want to tell you about and have you remember, so please put a star by the following dates and I'll tell you why. First is that on Tuesday the 29th, we do have that full moon, but we also have Messenger Mercury moving into the sign of Gemini. So we have a Gemini Sun, and now we have a Gemini Mercury. So this is a chatty week that we're going to have, especially, and mark your calendars for this, when Mercury does catch up with that Gemini Sun. They'll be side by side on June the 5th. And you're going to have a lot to say, and people will have a lot to say to you also. Also, if you would please put a star by the 31st, because at that time the moon is going to go into Capricorn. And remember, I've told you the moon is our up close and personal trigger. She triggers the energy of those bigger planets and those bigger aspects. And boy, is she going to do it this Thursday. She's going to be in the sign of Capricorn. And remember, we've got all that Capricorn and Taurus. So she is going to trigger that god of lightning. And she's going to sit right next to Sirius Sheriff Saturn. So we have a big event around that day. Not only that day, but before and after. And also, star on your calendar for June the 1st, because that's going to be a jackpot of good fortune. So, I remember, since this is now the season moving towards summer, and on the beaches of Virginia, where I lived before coming to California, we would always have thunderstorms, especially as things got hot. And I would watch we would all watch those big dark clouds roll down the James River, heading for the Atlantic Ocean, where that was going to stir up the big storm. Do you remember counting 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000 to see how far that lightning was going to strike from where you were? Not that there was a lot you could do about it except run. However, I'm thinking of that now because archetypally what we have is in mythology, Uranus, the sky god, the god of lightning, was wedded to Gaia, the earth mother. And what is a lightning strike except all of that energy in building up those negative charges in the clouds, just looking for a positive charge buildup on Earth and making that channel that we call lightning. Now, ordinarily, we wouldn't welcome that, but now I really want you to, because the only people we would be worried about right now are people who are not having their life repositioned in some way. Because, well, literally, like myself, my whole life moved geographically. But we're really being positioned so that emotionally, as well as in our mind, We are free, much freer, from limitations that in the past would have kept us from our heroes' and heroines' journey. If you think about last week, especially around that lovely aspect on the 25th, we had a spiritual uplifting day, several days, in which it was possible for us to really see the kind of quest that we're on, and to know that we are, even if we have to go through the dark forest or we have to get struck by lightning on the beach, it's all perfect. And now I really want us to say, I'm willing. I will face whatever it is without fear. I'm reminded of that big dream I had last year that was, I think, prophetic, because in this dream, I was leaning towards another person, and there was a large, dark cloud back behind my right shoulder. And as I leaned to the person, I said, will you join me in believing that fear is an illusion and love is the only power there is? And now I think we are being repositioned to join with another. And please take this opportunity to ask the people close to you, one by one, but your partner in particular, will you join me in believing that love is the only power in our world? Very, very important. So now I'm going to take you through the week, and we're going to be listening to the elements with fire, earth, air, water, so that you can have compatibility signals for your own birth moon and your own birth sun. So who's going to have their lunar birthday this week? We have three main elements this week, which is fire, earth, and air. Those of you who have your sun or your moon sign in fire, you can really welcome this Sagittarius moon this week, because otherwise, in all of the planets, we have no other fire. So this is going to crackle, and that's going to be, well, we start Monday the morning. The moon is still sort of slodging out of the waters of Scorpio, but we'll pick up steam really fast by Monday afternoon when the moon goes into that Sagittarius fire. So don't expect much of a kickstart for this week until we get to Tuesday. Now, if you have your moon in the sign of Capricorn, for example, Thursday and Friday this week, the moon will be in Capricorn. And so that will be your lunar birthday, that time of yin, of intuition, of having your emotions stirred, but in a very good way, because we want to use those emotions like sonar, sending those intuitive signals out so that we can pick up on the things that are really good for us and that lead us on the right path. Now, if you have your sun sign in Capricorn, that means that this Thursday and Friday, you will have your yang to-do days. You'll be very, very productive. And you can underline that one, because Capricorn itself is very productive. Now, Capricorn, if you remember, is ruled by the planet Saturn. Yeah, here comes Sheriff Saturn again. Very strong this week, because we have the Capricorn moon making aspect to both him and the god of lightning. So it sets off that considering your success. And this time, we're moving towards a very successful time for everyone on this planet, but for us individually. However, it is success through taking risks. Now, that's not usually Saturn's forte. In fact, risks are not something he particularly likes until now, because he's made sort of like buddy-buddy with the god of lightning, very unusual. And so risk and adventure are going to creep in now to what used to be what we considered stability and security. So grab that chance, that piece of, it looks like luck, especially, this Friday. But, luck comes from that Jupiter optimism. You have more optimism, you have more self-confidence. So you're going to try things that ordinarily you might think were beyond you. So those three things combine beautifully at the end of this week. That is the security of the mountaintop in Capricorn, ruled by Saturn. And what is the security at the mountaintop? Let me give you that little reminder from the mountain goat. The security is the objectivity and the far seeing. Now, the mountain goat climbs up there because he can see the predator coming no matter which direction. But we don't have fear. We have only that security of knowing that we are far-seeing, that we're not any longer tripped up by the ego's little obstacles thrown in our day-to-day path. They're just cracks in the sidewalk, and they really mean nothing to us. We just keep going. A very good idea, right? And then making the Capricorn moon making aspect to Uranus means that we welcome the sudden, even unexpected change, because we all are joining in faith in our quest. We're joining in faith that it is really in our best interest, even if we can't see it in the particular moment. And then making that aspect also with Jupiter this week, such good fortune that we are going to have not maybe very buoyed moods, but we are going to have hope. We are going to see that the old structures crumbling around us are simply meant to go, right? I moved my home. I keep talking about that because, well, I think it's so symbolic, not just a bit of a hassle for me on the earth plane, but because I want us to think about that kind of movement in our own lives that has brought us to the place where we had to choose. I had to choose. Am I going to drag some old thing, some old piece of furniture even, that I've had a long time, that I might not have even gotten rid of if I hadn't moved, right? But if I'm really honest, I don't even like it anymore. And why would I take it with me, right? Something brand new needs to come in, and we all feel that. So welcome it, and whatever comes up that is feeling like a request to let go, do it. Don't keep doing the same old thing or you get the same old results, right? So Monday, I want to just go back for a moment and say it's Memorial Day in the United States, and it is a time when we think about people who have died in many kinds of causes or for many kinds of reasons. And it gave me pause because I was thinking about how joyous we are when a new life is born. I certainly felt that way when my sons were born. Pure joy. And at the end of life, at death, we have such reverence, and reverence for the life of the person who is here. Then I wondered about what about the in-between, which is where most of us are now. And in our quest, it's not just an in-between of trying harder, of difficulties and obstacles, but perhaps it is also the time that we marry the joyousness of our own lives with reverence for the quest that we're on, for the obstacles that we overcome, and have some devotion and honor about people who are with you on this journey. And knowing that we are all doing the best we can, yes, but we are those actors on the stage, right? So the eyes that are in our body are seers. They're not just seeing things, however, images in the brain. Our eyes, our brain too, is also a projector. So we project images onto the outer world, and we act as if they're real, and we act as if they're true. And neither of those things is accurate, because real vision comes from listening to our inner sight. It comes from listening to that quiet voice within, that when we are joyous and when we are reverent about life itself, that's exactly what we will hear. So we won't be projecting fears. We will be living in the now of love. So see if this week you can notice yourself doing one or the other, because we do both. Sometimes I bounce back and forth within the hour with those. And notice what you feel, because if you are feeling anxious, depressed, etc., you know you're projecting. But if you feel peace and happiness, you know that you are listening to that inner voice. So I wish you well this week. Love your comments. Please share if you like this, and like me too. I like you. Bye for now.